Hello, thank you for joining me for Season 1, Episode 5 review of Friends. This one is called The One with the East German Laundry Detergent. Some wordy titles for these episodes, folks. There'll no longer be a hater at the end of the videos. He quit, so it'll just be me, the lover of Friends, talking about each episode, so I'm glad he quit. I got tired of ending every episode with a downer, so yeah, it'll just be me reviewing every episode from now on. So yeah, like I said, Season 1, Episode 5. This one starts with everybody at Central Perk, just the whole gang, and they're having these funny arguments about the pros of being a woman or the pros of being a man, and yada yada, just funny stuff. And then Phoebe takes it kind of dark but funny, but then Ross brings it back and it ends on a laugh and credits roll for the beginning of the show. We go back to Central Perk. Chandler is talking about date night, but he has to break up with Janice. Now Janice will be a recurring character on the show though, but he's gonna break up with her, and they start discussing that, and then Phoebe's like, well, I gotta break up with my boyfriend too, so they decide to kind of break up together, be at the same place at the same time, and do it, not as a team, but they'll both do it at the same time at the same place, so there's that. Rachel's dad offered her a convertible, but that's only if she moves back home, so that gets brought up. And then Joey's ex, Angela, walks in a red dress, looking good. So Joey goes and hits on her, and Ross finds out that Rachel's going to be doing laundry that evening, and he's like, oh, I got to do laundry. Let's, do laundry together. So they decide to go to the laundromat together and do their laundry. So he's going to go with her to do laundry later. So Angela ends up turning Joey down, saying she's got a new dude named Bob. So, Joey's like, Bob who? We were great together. But he ends up arranging a double date, and he says Monica's his girlfriend. So Angela and Bob and Joey and Monica are going to go on a double date. So we cut to Ross's apartment. He's getting ready to go do laundry, and Chandler is like, dude, it's just going to be you and Rachel. This is a date. He's like, no, it's not. He starts freaking out. So he decides not to take any dirty underwear, because Chandler's like, do you really want the first time she sees your underwear for it to be dirty? So, he's like, no. So he takes his underwear out, and he don't want to take Snuggles because that's not manly. So he stops to get something else on the way to the laundromat. So then we cut to the restaurant, and Joey and Monica are at the bar, and she's asking him questions about this Bob dude that she thinks she's there to meet. Like, Joey told Monica that she's going on the date with Bob, and told Monica that Bob is Angela's brother. So Monica's expecting to be on a date with the person that Angela's bringing as the date, so that's pretty funny. So then Angela and Bobby show up, Bob, but then we cut back to Central Perk. We got Chandler and Phoebe waiting for their current boyfriend and girlfriend to show up so they can break up with them. Janice walks in, and the most notable quality that everybody knows about Janice, she's got a real annoying nasally voice that is very funny throughout the series. Chandler's nervous, and he's drinking an espresso, and she's complaining about having an awful day. So she's already had an awful day, now he's gonna dump her, And then she gives him gifts. She bought him some Bullwinkle socks. And so while this is going on, Chandler looks across the coffee shop, and Rachel is talking to Brian, the dude she's dumping, and they just hug and he leaves. It was like so smooth. And Chandler's kind of like, looks at her funny. So he goes to get another espresso, and he's like, "What was that?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, it was very hard." He was like, "Hard? Y'all hugged and he left." She's like, "You weren't there." So that's pretty funny. So then we cut back to the laundromat, and Rachel's there, and then we hear Ross coming in, and a lady took Rachel's washing machine that she was going to use, and she's real rude about it. And Rachel tells Ross, and he argues with the woman and gets the machine back for Rachel. And then Rachel's impressed, like, "Hey, And Ross tries to flirt a little, but, it's real awkward. And he, kind of fails funnily, though. They keep it light, keep it funny. So he breaks out his Uberweiss detergent. That is the East German detergent aforementioned in the title. Rachel's just putting all of her laundry in the washing machine together, and Ross is like, "You need to separate them." She's like, "Oh, what, I gotta separate the shirts from the pants? What?" He's like, "No, you do your colors, your whites, and then your delicates, pretty much." So, kind of some funniness there. And we cut back to the restaurant, and everybody's laughing and having a good time. Monica's trying to get to know Bob, but Joey will interrupt, so she can't find out too much, because Joey don't want her finding out that Bob is Angela's date and not Angela's brother. And then, like, Joey and Bob stay at the bar talking, and Joey's talking about how she, like, nibbles like a squirrel on stuff, and he's trying to talk about it like it's cute, but he's really bringing up annoying things, so Bob will notice it and break up with her. So he's already trying to sabotage it. And then we got Monica and Angela in the bathroom, and they're talking, and Monica saying how great Bob seems and all this, and then Angela's like, "Oh yeah, he's even great in bed," and Monica's like, "My brother didn't even want to tell me when he lost his virginity," and Angela's like, "Okay." So she's obviously frazzled by that. Then we cut back to Central Perk, where Phoebe's giving Chandler a pep talk for his breakup, and he's all jittery and nervous from the espresso, and he's just because of the breakup. And he orders another espresso when he shouldn't, and then he just blurts it out, "Janice, we shouldn't, date anymore," and she gets all upset and starts fanning herself. And Chandler, like, looks at Phoebe like, "What to do?" And she's like, "I don't know." So then we cut back to the laundromat. Ross and Rachel are talking, cutting up. And she's like, "I feel like if I can do laundry, I can do anything." And so it's kind of a big deal that she, does this to feel independent. And then Ross lifts up the lid to her washer and goes, "Uh-oh," and closes it. And he tries to play it off, but then he has to tell Rachel, "You left something red in here, and now everything's kind of pink except for the red thing, it's still red." So now she's kind of breaking down and like, "My dad's right, I can't do this, I can't be independent, I do need to move back home." And then the rude woman that was trying to steal her machine earlier starts laughing because she's a biatch. We cut back to the restaurant, and Angela's doing a little nibble thing Joey mentioned, and they're all talking, but then Angela kind of cuddles up to Bob. So Monica takes Joey to the side. She's like, "This is weird." And he's like, "What?" "They're close." And then Monica looks over there and she's like, now Angela's like got her tongue in his ear, and Joey tries to play that off, but that's not going. So then Monica figures out that's not her brother, they're a date. And he's like, "Yeah." So Monica goes to leave, and he stops her, and he convinces her to help him split them up, and then she can date Bob and he can date Angela. And she agrees. So they go back to the table. Angela's doing her little nibble thing again. Cut back to Central Perk, and Chandler's even more hyper now. He's talking really fast, telling her why they shouldn't be together, and then he's motioning with his hands. He accidentally hits her in the eye, and so that's not good. And then he knocks her contact out, so she's looking for the contact, and he looks at Phoebe like, "Help me!" And then Phoebe's like, "Okay," and she talks to Janice. Janice hugs her, and Janice leaves, and Chandler's like, "How do you do that?" And she's like, "I don't know, it's like a superpower." So he's like, "Well, anytime we gotta break up, we gotta do it together." And she's like, "Oh, I'd like that." So then we cut to the laundromat, and they're looking at Rachel's pink clothes. And then Ross walks away because the dryer made a noise. And now the mean lady tries to take the cart that Rachel and them were going to use for their clothes. And she looks at Ross, and Ross kind of gives her this face like, you take care of it. And so Rachel stands up to the woman, won't let her take the cart. And then eventually Rachel's like, "If you take the cart, you're going to have to take me with it." And Rachel gets in the cart. And the woman backs off, and Rachel wins. She stood up for herself. She feels real good about it. And then she feels so good, in fact, she just kind of gives Ross like a peck, a kiss, and he like jumps up, and he's all frazzled and weird, and then something physical comedy happens. You'll have to watch it to see. It's pretty funny. And, yeah. So then we cut to the credits, and we're back at the coffee shop, and Rachel's holding an ice pack on Ross's head, so obviously that physical comedy thing must have injured him a little, even though he's like, I'm fine. And then Phoebe's looking at the pink clothes, and she's like, "This is cool, I'm going to do this." And so that probably makes Rachel feel a little better. But so then Monica and Joey come in, and Monica's bragging about how they split that couple up real good. And that's pretty funny. And then they ask, "Where's Chandler?" And Phoebe said, "Oh, he needed some time to mourn." Cut to Chandler running around the outside of Central Perk yelling, "I'm free, I'm free." And then it ends. So that is Season 1, Episode 5 of Friends. The one with the East German laundry detergent. Overall, I'd say a very funny episode. It's probably the laundromat scenes are the most, classic from this scene. I'll see those in Friends trailers from time to time, especially the physical comedy bit. It pops up in a lot of trailers for Friends. Not much in the way of character development, really. Just it could be a standalone episode. Except for Janice being introduced, she will be a big part of the show here and there. So yeah, I guess it is important for that reason. So yeah, to introduce Janice, you would really have to see Episode 5 of Season 1. Of course, I'm going to give it 5 stars. It's got a lot of laughs. Every scene is funny. So, just a great episode overall. So, yeah, I recommend it. Like I said, there's no hater. He's gone. Thank you for joining me, both of you, for this episode of reviewing Friends, Season 1, Episode 5. I will be back tomorrow for Season 1, Episode 6. Please remember to like, comment, and share. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.